Hey everyone, welcome to Disabled Travel. Today we're on a day trip down to London, so let's see how we get on. Right now on the Underground, the escalators, if you haven't done them before with a mobility issue, they can be really daunting, as you can imagine. These things move fast. They do move fast. I find these underground escalators move a lot faster than normal escalators, I found. But mind you, I think they probably cover a lot more distance. One thing to remember though, they do say that you must stand on the right hand side of the escalator, so then people who run up the escalators, they move along the left. So make sure that you feel safe on them. So we exited at Tower Bridge station and then made our way towards Tower Bridge. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk from there. It could probably be a lot more with the way that we walk, with the way that I walk, to be honest. There is there is a little bit of cobblestones there, and there is quite a little bit of an incline as well. So just be wary of that. Now, our tour of London was unfortunately I could only manage it for half a day in the end. We had actually planned a full 2 day trip up to London, but due to train strikes and everything, we only actually managed half a day in the end, unfortunately, before we had to catch a train home because we went up just before the Easter bank holiday, and it's probably I was told afterwards that's probably one of the worst times to come up there because they always plan rail works at that time, and we didn't really fancy getting stuck in London, so we had to head back. But there's more about all this later on in the video, so please do stay tuned. As you approach, this is the main area where you arrive to first. This is the main ticketing area, really, where you can have some great photos. Outside the towers themselves, outside the Tower of London itself. So this is where you buy tickets, to get into the Jewel House and everything. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we couldn't actually head in there. But who knows? Maybe another time. Now this area I believe is actually referred to more as a jewel house, which is where I believe all the king's jewels are kept. And there you go, as you can see the Tower Bridge just behind there. So yeah, this is where the king's jewels are all kept, really. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we didn't actually head inside though. And there is Tower Bridge in all its glory. You've probably seen this picture a million times before, but yeah. A few facts about Tower Bridge now, because I like my facts. It was built in 1894, and it's considered as what they call a bascule bridge, meaning that the middle section lifts up to allow for tall ships to pass. The towers themselves on Tower Bridge are actually 65 metres high. Just to give you a bit of context, there are some tube stations that we were going through in London. They're 35 metres underground, so half a Tower Bridge, really. That just shows just how impressive Tower Bridge really is, and generally the tube stations in London. Unfortunately, at this point, we had to head back and catch a train back home. Really, as you can see here, we're heading down the tube, back on the tube now, back to Euston now to head home. This trip was really short, unfortunately, because we knew that Good Friday there was going to be a lot of planned rail works. But please do stay tuned because I've got my conclusion verdict coming up in a bit. So stay tuned for that. Right, so now it's been a few days now since we came back from London. It was from our very short trip around London. I'm gonna have to give overall our travelling around London. I have to give it probably, I'd say, I'd have to give it an amber traffic light, really. I'll tell you the reasons why. Because that number one, obviously, if you sort of travelling around London with mobility issues, obviously. This is not in anyone's control, but it can be very anxiety-inducing and very nerve-wracking for a lot of people, especially when you're faced down in the underground. There's a huge map of stations and a huge number of stations names and everything, and it can be very anxiety inducing, not knowing where to go or what to do. So that's why I do recommend you first to plan, and plan again, because things don't always run on time, and everything. But these things aren't in anyone's control. But I mean, the TfL, Transport for London themselves, they do a great job down there, and yeah, they do a great job. So for them, I'd give them a green light, because they do great they do great work. And if anyone is available, then I do recommend you, if you are struggling, please do ask, because they're always there to help and assist you, really. Yeah, and yeah, and the red card the red warning sign that I would give, really, is that sometimes when you do plan these things out, they don't always run to time or anything like that, So these things do happen, and that can't be helped by anyone, really. It's just one of them things, really. Unfortunately, we do get delays on the trains and everything, and there's nothing we can do about that. And yeah, so for that, I'm going to give it a red traffic light, because of that, really. Because, well, one day, we were supposed to be down in London for 2 days, but unfortunately on the one day we were pretty much stuck on the train for the whole day trying to get into London. But that's out of anyone's control, really. That's nothing we can do. So in the end, we only actually ended up having half a day to walk around London, as I was actually planning a full couple of days in London, which is unfortunate, really. But it's just one of them things, But then who knows? Maybe next time, later on, we might plan another trip down London, and hopefully then I'll bring you some more footage or some more sites, hopefully, if you like to see that. So yeah. One thing I do recommend, obviously, as I did say, that it can be quite anxiety inducing heading down towards the underground and trying to catch the tube and everything, especially if it's busy. Do take it one station at a time, take it as it comes, That's one important thing that I found out, because obviously when you head down there and you see the great big tube map and you see where you're like, oh gosh, where am I going? I have no idea and everything. It can be quite worrying. So yeah, that's my conclusion, really, of our trip to London, really. So I hope you found this video useful. Please do like, share and subscribe this video if you did, and share it with anyone, really. I mean, I know it was only a short video, and hopefully I'll be back soon again for another one. See you then.